we're going to go over our initial thoughts of the trailer, leaving the Mario Kart 9 stuff for the second topic. We're going to talk about how next handheld Jeepers appears to have leaked all of the things and was 100% correct. So here are other things that they have discussed that haven't been proven yet.
Yep, we'll go over those in a bit.
Yep. He quoted 9 today, suggesting that Mario Kart is called Mario Kart 9. MicroSD Express is supported. Might have to be confirmed by GameStop. Also having listings for that on the for Switch 2. Claimed that there's themes but might not be launch for a game with 9 in it. Hello, Mario Kart. Hall effect sticks and hinted Doc has a fan. Exact wording on 4K30 is that he officially doesn't know, but was told about it possibly being baseline some games would target.
All right. So let's just get to the just this initial impressions of what we're seeing on screen right now. Like, we'll save the Mario Kart stuff for the Mario Kart topic, but what are we doing here, guys? How are you feeling right now? We're seeing this. I'd like to say we're seeing it for the first time, just the first time officially.
I mean, I have a lot, like right there. Obviously, the fact that they go inside those little grip things and the mouse functionality is not confirmed, but heavily implied.
Yeah.
Teasing that. I don't know if you guys saw, but when they push the buttons, they look like not mushy, but like the Super Nintendo or PlayStation style buttons. They don't look like they click like the Switch 1 buttons. Like the Switch 1 buttons are very tactile. They make a little noise. But like the Super Nintendo buttons or like, PlayStation, Xbox, they still like are satisfying to press, but they're like softer, I guess. And these ones look like they're more like that, which would be a huge upgrade in my opinion. I don't like that we don't have a D-pad by default in the Joy-Cons that come with it. I get they have to do like you can use it as a controller, but still think it kind of sucks. It looks like they do not have Hall effect on the joysticks. I'm pretty familiar with joysticks that use those, and they do not look like it. It looks like they just added like the color part is like a dome maybe that's to try to help prevent drift. I mean, they might have done other things that we don't know about. Nothing's confirmed, but those are just like some concerns I have. They're all like a little nitpicky and stuff that we don't quite know yet, but overall I'm super excited about it. And I like the mouse feature. Like, knowing Nintendo, it's probably not going to be used in a ton of games, but I'm sure they'll create at least one game, if not a couple, that take advantage of it in a really cool way. So I'm excited for that. Like, are they going to bring back Mario Paint, or are they going to take, one of their IPs and do something brand new with that? There's a lot of stuff to be excited for.
I like that the trailer confirmed Joy-Con drift, but not the kind of Joy-Con drift that you're used to, but drifting the Joy-Con around. And I could see, like, coming off of Jake's statement about them using it, I was just experimenting throughout the day when I wasn't typing online and answering questions and just enjoying the fun of, like, we've thought a lot about RTSs and first-person shooters and camera control movement, but then I started experimenting, like, dang, Mario Kart, I could hold my left hand and my Joy-Con in my left hand off to the side, controlling the way I normally do. And with my right hand down like this is a drifting motion going left and right. That could be the power drift as you make your way around, just like this. And you'd have your either gas would be your ZR or the A button on your thumb. But just imagine, instead of toggling the left analog stick left and right, how you do the drift now, just a little bit of a motion left and right. So
wait, Paul, hear me out. Aiming the green shells with the mouse and include while doing all the stuff that you just said. Like, you could actually target
hitting the shells.
Yeah, like where you're throwing the shells.
It could have a little bit of a point, so that, like, depending on where your back part is or your front part is, release a shell, hit in that direction. I'm thinking of lots of different things right now. Flying the ship forward and the R wing, and then shooting the laser off to the side. Based off that point, I mean, there's a lot. I think it's going to be used more than this little IR blaster on the base Nintendo Switch.
Well, I mean, that's for sure. Third parties will have way more use for it than
I think so.
That IR thing.
This seems like the next stylus, the next motion control, something that will be used all generation long. Hopefully.
Who's going to be the first person to beat Elden Ring only using the mouse feature on 2 Joy-Con?
That'll happen quicker than you probably think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, okay, first of all, I was just couldn't be more excited. Like, I know there's a lot of people that are like, okay, all this leaked. We kind of knew what to expect. But could you imagine? I mean, what else do we want? This is what we want. It's a more powerful, far more capable Nintendo Switch with a way bigger screen. I don't know if you guys have seen this talk online, but a lot of people doing the measurements. And I think there was like that super accurate mobile leaker that put out that one render. They're saying 8.4 inches for the screen.
I did see that.
So not just 8.4. That's massive. You know, and it may have some bezel and stuff that's there. And obviously they may do an OLED model, hopefully a Pro model later on. But, you know, if there's not a chip issue or something like that. But this is like already the size of the gaming handheld that I want. I've always like, when I got to the OLED from the base Switch, I was like, oh, this is so great. I'm going to play in handheld way more. And I definitely have with my OLED. But going up, like now that I have a PlayStation Portal and not great for the latency and stuff, but just that 8-inch display, that little upgrade in screen size is so enjoyable for me. And I'm not even upset about it not having an OLED screen. Like, I think it being an 8.4 inch in your hands, way more powerful Nintendo Switch, that's exactly what I wanted. Personally too, the color scheme, like, I actually like it, like it's minimal on the front. I wish they actually did colored buttons. That was my only thing, is I was a big fan of that theory of the colored buttons kind of being a more throwback to the, Super Famicom and and even just like the new 3DS, but they chose not to do that. But it looks sleek and clean. I'm good with the logo. I'm good with the name. Nintendo's not getting weird or wacky and calling it Nintendo Switch Attach or something stupid like that, where Nintendo, like maybe some people think it's like an optional accessory. It's very clear what this is, and Nintendo nailed it on the marketing and the messaging. The views back that up. The sleek black that they kind of saved this whole time for Joy-Cons. It's awesome that's like one of the launch colors. I think there's going to be 2, and we'll probably get into that later. But yeah, my initial thoughts on this is just like, I can't wait. I mean, I'm so, if they let me pre-order it today, the pre-order would have already been done. And I know we may talk about, I'm sure we'll probably talk about price point at some point. But to the point, and I hope it's not higher than $399, but if this is $449 or $500, I would still happily purchase it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I want to see more games. Mario Kart 9 obviously looks really great. We'll get to that later, but that's the thing. We have a Direct. We know a Direct is coming. They announced the Direct. That was really cool. We know when the next major Switch 2 thing is. Yeah, it's a few months away. That's okay. Because it does sound like third parties will be able to announce things. That's what Jason Schreier kind of pointed out. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I do. So like, obviously, my initial reaction to this was one, Nate the Hate's got to be feeling great today.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got to be feeling fantastic today. And I will say shout out to some of the internet. They have offered apologies to him. Some have offered apologies to me as well. I was a little surprised, because normally,
you
like,
should have just called this apology stream.
Yeah, normally, like, when people get shit on for this stuff, and it doesn't happen, obviously lots of clowning happens. But then when they get shit on and then it does happen, there's no apologies. You just move on, and they'll just come back to hate the next thing. But I was surprised today to see there was actually quite a few of the haters out there apologizing to a lot of content creators and a lot of insiders. So shout out to them, because obviously, standing by your guns when you got literally Nintendo doing something they don't do, not pre-announcing they're going to do something. It's pretty crazy. Except I got to put the shades on here, because someone over here pays attention to Furukawa. And Furukawa has now announced 3 pieces of hardware. None of them pre-announced ahead of time. Switch Lite, Switch OLED, both were shadow drops. And now Switch 2. This should now just be the expectation under Furukawa. If there's going to be a new revision, a new piece of hardware, he ain't going to let you know ahead of time. He's just going to drop that thing.
And
Don't forget Alarmo.
May. You can argue. Yeah, Alarmo. Oh, yeah, Alarmo too, see? There was no pre-announcement for Alarmo either. Like Furukawa, just he ain't warning anyone for heart. He likes that surprise drop. And you know what? Who can blame him? OLED instantly became the number one selling platform every single month since they dropped that. And now 100 million, like no pre-announcement, 100 million plus views across all socials. I like the Switch didn't even get that. Switch didn't get that back in the day.
So what was crazy is it only had 25,000 views in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, that is what's so wild about it.
Yeah, like we can hit those numbers.
Yeah,
And you know what I mean? And that's what.
It
And
caught
but then it was like a snowball, just exponentially just blew up.
The view counter was probably broken on it, don't you think? Because somebody tweeted out like that it had more likes than it had views.
Yeah, it had like 110,000 likes and
that,
10,000 views.
Still, it like I know that the public view count is different than what you see on your dashboard or whatever, but still, it couldn't have been that much.
The Nintendo Japan tweet with the video, I know it had like 1.5 million views like 3 hours later, and now it's like almost to 40 million.
Yeah, exactly.
It blew up throughout the day. It's word of mouth. That's what's happening. As people wake up, go about their day, word of mouth, it starts to spread. And that's what Nintendo was relying on. No pre-announcement, just word of mouth marketing. And let me think about this. It's a 2-minute trailer that basically, if like set aside the leaks, because 100 million people probably didn't see all the leaks, right? So I look at this and I go, okay, what did they show? Something that just looks like a bigger Switch, right? But it's got a 2 in it. And that has 100 million views. Why? That Nintendo Switch 2 branding, man. It's it. That's it. They literally labeled it Nintendo Switch 2 in all the titles everywhere. Before you even watched it, you knew it was called Nintendo Switch 2. Because that branding's so clear to mass consumers. It's such an obvious, very clear branding that just keeps working for every tech company out there. Nintendo figured it out. Yeah, guys, I know some of you guys hate it. You wish it was Super Switch or even Switch U or whatever, new Nintendo Switch, whatever branding you wish it was, or maybe even drop the Switch branding altogether. Furukawa ain't messing around. He sees everyone else is successful if they stop confusing people. Just ask Xbox; they're experts at that. So, like, the Xbox branding's been all over the place. So I'm really glad that, especially since that's what this is, right? It's a bigger, more powerful Switch that has some extra new features, right? With the mouse stuff. And I like what they did in general. Like, now that it's all confirmed, like the colors, like I like that subtleness to the colors underneath the sticks and on the side rails. Like, it's one of those things that when I glance at it, you could just tell, that looks different than a Switch. But it is a Switch, but it's like familiar, but you instantly recognize there's something different about that. And I like that. I think they did something smart with that. Obviously, the logo on the back, logo on the front of the dock, that's pretty typical. That's what they did with Switch. So, honestly, I'm just, really excited that it's all official now. Like, no one can say we're just talking bullshit anymore. It's real. All those leaks, not just next handheld. Think about all of the manufacturing leaks that we had. Like, go all the way back to September when we had the first CAD renders come in. This is what it was. Like, to a T. Like, what they're showing on screen right now. We didn't have the colors, but we had the extra button. We had the USB-C on top. We had the release buttons on the back. Even there's like a microphone slit on here. That was in the renders. Like, it's pretty wild to me that, like, really we saw the base idea of what this looked like all the way back in September. Does that mean Nintendo waited maybe too long to reveal it? Well, 100 million views later says, hell no, they didn't. Hell fucking no, they didn't wait too long. Maybe for some of us that pay attention to all the leaks, but that ain't a majority of the consumer base. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I wake up tomorrow and it's over 200 million views. Like, we'll get into it later, but Nintendo's planning for this to be a pretty big year one, like the biggest in history, and we have a whole topic for that. So, let's go ahead and Andrew, what were you feeling watching this reveal today?
I literally watched it right in my bed, right when I woke up, and my editor actually. What was that?
What were you wearing?
I'll DM you a pic. Okay. I don't want to get explicit.
All day.
Can I get on that list?
Just remind me. I might forget to send it to you. But
yeah, I won't forget.
I actually felt pretty silly watching this because I don't know what it was. I just thought I was going to see something new, But everything I saw except Mario Kart, I was like, whoa, this is exactly what I've seen on the internet already. And that's pretty crazy. I do think it's interesting they changed the title. When I first saw it, it was an update from Nintendo. Then they switched it to Nintendo Switch 2 in the title. Just kind of like a little reminder that there's people just working in the background in the marketing company, just like us. Like I do the same with my videos. Like I'm changing the titles sometimes. They're doing the same thing. But yeah, as the day has been going on, I'm getting more excited. At first, I was just like, man, I've already seen this. But just as the confirmation has settled and all the cool things about it are true, I'm just really excited about it. And also, the marketing is working. I went to a family reunion for Thanksgiving last year, and on my mom's side, I have over 70 first cousins, and all the ones I talked to, none of them even knew the Switch 2 was coming out. I had one call. Actually, it was a friend, so not related to that. But I'm just saying the marketing's working for this thing because I've had people reach out to me today that never even knew about this, like us hardcore Nintendo fans, but people are now knowing about it. So they're doing something right.
Yeah. My mom sent me a text today at like 1:00 and said, hey, is there like a new Switch that got announced today? I'm like, how did you hear about it? I didn't tell you anything. How the hell did you hear it? So like it's getting around. It's getting around. I'm pretty stoked about how viral this marketing is going and how it's actually working really, really well. Nick with no K, what are you thinking over there?
So I'm gonna be real. I thought Nintendo was gonna drop this a little later in the day. So I very casually like walked into work this morning, like was putting my stuff down, getting ready to start the day, and all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up, and all my friends on Discord are like, "They dropped the trailer! They dropped the trailer! The trailer's here!" And I was like, "Okay, hold on." So I put all my stuff down, put my headphones on, pulled it up. Sure enough, there it was. And I was like, "Dang, all right." And even though I've been like caught up on the leaks and stuff, and have like seen everything, I've watched all the videos, I know like all that stuff, I was still like smiling from ear to ear watching this trailer of like it's all real. Like this is legit now. It's not, hey, here's this rumor for the Switch 2. Like it's no, here's the thing. It's got the little mouse functionality, which I don't know if anybody else noticed this. If you look in the trailer, there's like a very specific like 2-second segment where the Joy-Cons, when they're on the side in the mouse mode, look like mice.
Yeah.
Like just the way that trigger curves with the button right underneath that looks like an eye, and you got the strap that looks like a tail. Like it's kind of like the dog face controller for the Switch 1 where you put the Joy-Cons together. So all in all, I'm just excited because it means like now we can start getting games and we can start like actually having fun with it. The one thing that's bothered me is, and maybe this is just because I've been on the internet all day, is people always find something to complain about. Like there's always somebody complaining about something. Like, oh, that little thing on the side looks like it's gonna be too easy to break. Oh, the Mario Kart doesn't look that good. Like it's the same as Switch. Ooh, oh, it's just bigger. Why is it just a bigger Switch? Why is it called Switch? Shut up, man. Let people be happy. Bro, I'm going back and forth with someone on Twitter right now who's like, well, the Mario Kart's not in 4K. And I'm like, bro, this is a pre-rendered trailer with footage that's probably not final. Also,
I saw that a lot today too, Nick.
3 seconds of gameplay. Like, let's calm down. This is not representative of what it's going to look like in our hands.
Not
All that social media compression too, baby.
That's the world today, man. That's the world today.
I'm just like, quit complaining. Be happy.
And the trailer was only released in 1080p. It's not like we would have known if it was 4K.
The same people complaining online about this thing are the same ones were saying it wasn't going to happen and that we were all clowns just 24 hours before. They're shifting the thing. Yeah, they're shifting what they're upset about.
This trailer's not meant to showcase gameplay footage either, you know?
Yeah, like they're having an entire direct that we're going to see Nintendo showcase the best of what they got right now and all the features and answer all the questions. I expect it to be a pretty damn beefy direct. So Stash, how are you feeling this morning, man?
Well, again, I was very tired. Yeah, I got maybe 3.5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Rolled over, saw it, and immediately I was just glued on my phone. refreshing Twitter, seeing if there's anything else, seeing all the comments. And, kind of like Paul said, I was just kind of living in the moment. I'm like, okay, I'm probably not going to get back into Indiana Jones today for review. And that's okay because, you live for moments like this as just as lifelong gamers. I think any console launches, console reveals, they're just so much fun and you just got to enjoy it. But especially with Nintendo. As far as the trailer, were there any surprises for me? I would say no, but that doesn't take the joy out of the fact that we got it today and that we stood behind the leaks. We stood behind Nate and we agreed that it was going to happen today. We believed in him, had faith. So,
Dude, I kicked my feet up in the show last night.
man.
I wasn't even worried at all, man.
Neither was I. Yeah. So hats off to him there. I'm happy for that because I saw a lot of negativity last night after the podcast. Directed towards Nate. I'm just like, oh my God. And again, like you said, Nick, that's the world we live in now. So, ignore it as best as you can because ain't going to get any better pry.
Yeah.
Now, I think Nintendo did an excellent job in a minimalist fashion illustrating that this is bigger and better without saying anything.
Yeah, no words.
Exactly. So impressive, man. Like, I'm like, you guys did such a good job here. This is nothing like the Wii U days, thankfully. Even what's showing right now as far as like the backwards compatibility. I think that's kind of been discussed too on the internet today. And there were some concerning tweets out there. A lot of people really worried about what that means. And does that mean I'm not going to be able to play, like Mario Wonder on there? It's like, no, of course not, dude. Come on,
did they show Mario Wonder on the cartridge? Was that the one that used as an example of backwards compatibility?
Yeah, it was so weird, the questions that were being asked. But, again, there's a list out there, right? I think we were tagged in that earlier today of games that most likely are not going to be compatible. It's not a lot of games. It's like the Labo stuff, really.
Yeah, and even I think like they're just saying not compatible for people that buy a Switch 2 and don't have a Switch 1 or traded their Switch 1 in and then maybe pick up that Switch 1 game. Like it won't work, like Ring Fit, right? Like because the new Joy-Cons won't fit into Ring Fit. Or Labo, or obviously like 1-2 Switch, or everybody's 1-2 Switch, and like that's fine. But also, I think technically the games will still work so long as you sync up the old Joy-Con.
I think so too, man. So
they still have to say, hey, just so you're aware, not all games are compatible because you have to buy extra stuff to play it.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't think there's a real cause for concern there. Outside of that, guys, I'm just happy that it's over as far as, the ball's rolling now. We begin a new chapter. I'm very happy they gave us a release or a scheduled date for the direct.
Yeah,
really thankful for that. I was like, okay, so we're not like it's not a cliffhanger now for us. We know when the next ball drops. We know what we can expect from it, right? And so that's very exciting for me is that we have something to look forward to. It's going to happen sooner than we think. Time's going to fly by. So again, overall, really excited. I'll get my thoughts on Mario Kart when we get into that bit.
Eric, it's your topic, man. Well, how are you feeling? You were watching my live stream reaction. How were you feeling? I might have brought some extra hype. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I got caught way off guard because, like Nick, I just was walking into work and I sat down and pulled up, my computer and was like, oh yeah, I knew everybody was streaming, so I was like, screw it, I'll just pop in, and all of a sudden they're partway through the freaking reveal trailer. I'm like, what the? Wait, they did it now? What the hell? I was hoping for another like at least an hour to get into work and then watch it, but no, I watched through you and then jumped up.
I don't know if I said it, but I saw you on my stream, Eric.
I saw it. Yep. Okay. Yeah. I jumped into Jake's then, and it was freaking crazy. One thing I did notice though that is kind of a little weird. I thought the front of the dock was going to be shorter Because I know there was
Oh.
rumors out there that the dock was going to be kind of shorter in the front. I mean, it probably is a little bit, but
So this is my bad. I don't know if I ever brought it up in the podcast. Next Handheld posted an image of the front of the dock, and it showed that it was the same height. So it looked like it was. It had the reason we thought it was shorter was just the angle of the image that he took just made it like an optical illusion kind of thing. So we kind of already knew that it wasn't, but it was one of those things where, you know, that's very recent. He posted that like last week. So just like technically he posted the full Joy-Cons like yesterday as well with some AI Donkey Kong art and stuff. Just I kind of love that he that he just kept doing the AI background thing. I found it to be hilarious, but maybe not as hilarious as like Kit and Krista, you know, dressed as DK throwing bananas at each other.
That was great.
An old Nintendo Minute episode that they took that clip from, but oh man, good stuff. Let me see here. Thunderstash says you have a picture you want to post, buddy?
Yeah, it's not Nintendo, but I want to show you guys this. So just look at the colors, right? The blue and the coral.
Yeah.
Because when I saw this, I immediately thought of another product.
Oh shit.
And just tell me, like, is this not identical?
That's funny.
Because I remember I got this iPhone right here because when I first saw the pictures, it looked orange, and orange is the Phoenix Suns color. So I was like, yeah, I'm all over that. But then when I got it, it was like this coral. But as soon as I saw those colors, I'm like, dude, that is dead on.
If you think about it, it's almost like an homage to the original Switch with the neon red, neon blue.
Yeah.
Like that's
it's a little subtle, but sometimes less is more. You know, like I like big, wild, fantastic N64 colored controllers. I mean, you see my Mario suit. I love that. But sometimes just a plain black suit with a nice Triforce medallion that you'd have, or a nice pin, that brings all the attention to that. And here you have this nice black matte system and just these two colors that are subtle that you instantly look different and really cool and elegant, you know? It's good.
Yeah. But they could have put the colors on like the ABXY or on like the arrow, the D-pad, but they didn't. They said, no, we're going to keep those like very clean and just a touch of color. One thing I like about that touch of color thing too is it keeps with the theme of the original Switch, especially the black one or the dark gray, whatever they had at launch, where Nintendo is trying to really hard to make this be like, this is a hip, cool adult system.
Yeah.
Like we want this to be something adults want to buy and feel good having and don't feel like it's a toy. And so sticking with like the subtleness of the colors, it makes it different, but it doesn't make it like Fisher Price. You know, you don't feel like you're playing with a toy, even though it is a toy. And Nintendo of the past under Iwata would always advertise like, hey, our video game systems and our video game, they're toys. For a I was like, no, we're sleek, we're keeping it professional, and we're dropping Mario Kart because everyone loves it.
Do you guys remember?
I kind of think it looks ugly.
You hate it?
I don't hate it. I don't mind it. I don't think it's like horrible, but it's kind of plain and it kind of blends in. It kind of is like Nintendo is trying to look like all the gaming like handhelds that copied the Switch. And I like Nintendo because they're different. And I don't hate it. Especially if you're gonna play it like in public or something, I much prefer a low profile system.
Yeah.
But I was hoping for like, Sunbro said at the beginning of the stream, like the color buttons, some like crazy stuff. The Switch 1 had 2 different variants at launch. And it would have been cool if we had this and a fun option too. Maybe they will, but I can't remember if the Switch 1 trailer showed both colorways in the same trailer, or if they only showed one and then they showed the other one later. But
there might be
maybe they do a couple, but I don't know. I was just hoping for more inspired Joy-Cons in general for this system. I don't like I do like single colors, right? But why can't there be like, I don't know if you guys watch Austin John Plays, but he's got like those custom Joy-Cons that are painted to look like Pokeballs, right? They're like white on the bottom, red on the top. And then we got the Zelda special edition ones. and I don't necessarily need like special editions, but I just want like contrasting colors. Like PlayStation does it too, and it drives me crazy. They make their controllers all one color. Like I want different colored buttons than the controller. You know what I mean?
It is wild
I
that
do.
color button theory is instant death. Color button theory for all those games that had all the SNES colored buttons. Nah,
Mario.
throw that in the trash. What is interesting though is because when we talk about all this, right? One thing that like this is the first thing that came to mind is because I'm covering all the leaks and rumors. Is I'm like, oh my gosh, next handheld is like legit. He showed us everything, and it all got confirmed today. Not everything he said, but everything he showed got confirmed today. So that to me was wild because he did say a lot of things that we don't have confirmed yet, and I think now we have to pay a lot more attention to. One of those things is something that Jake Randall already disagrees with, and that is that he was told that there's Hall effect sticks, and Jake Randall like, oh, there's no Hall effect sticks.
Wait, what are you talking about?
So next handheld said that the joysticks are Hall effect.
Oh, he said they are. Okay, they
are.
don't look like it to me.
Yeah, they don't look like. I think they're. If they are, I'm trying to remember. I have these Ghoulie Kit ones. Have you seen the Ghoulie Kit replacement sticks that are Hall effect?
No.
Okay. Because they're a lot more low
They
profile.
might be what a lot of handheld use though, so I might have inadvertently seen them and not known.
Yeah, because they made them for Steam Deck as well, and others, but like they're much more lower profile. So it's weird because like the Hall effect ones usually aren't like super low profile, but Ghoulie Kit made some. Now Nintendo had a patent for Hall effect sticks as well. Whether or not that's what these are, obviously we can't know. I mean, no one's going to really know until we take it apart or do proper testing on them to see if they react like Hall effect does. But like, yeah, you're right. And like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I don't know if that's Hall effect. That looks a little more standard. But who knows? He said that he was told by the engineer that he claimed he was talking to an engineer that it has Hall effect sticks. Okay. I mean,
If they are, that's a huge win because I've literally had like over 10 Joy-Cons and they all like 10 pairs that all got drift.
Oh, that's bad.
It's
man.
crazy.
Yeah. So like obviously like really big deal there to just I can't dismiss anything he said at this point because he nailed everything. So he's obviously not lying. Like he's not a liar. He showed real images of Switch 2. So
Makes you feel better.
Yeah, it makes you feel a bit better about the things he's saying. Like, oh, Hall effect.
Wait, was he the one that said it was being revealed on the 17th?
No. That was the PS5 Pro guy who got busted and admitted that he's completely fake and just made everything up and got lucky.
To be fair, he got pretty close again.
Moisty Charlie.
He's got good guesses. That guy needs to go to the casino and
Yeah, he needs to go all in on black or red, and he'll just know which one to put it in on. I don't know when to hit in blackjack. He's counting the cards before he even had time to get a count. So that's cool to think about that there could be Hall effect sticks. At least
next handheld teases January 17th as the reveal date.
So next handheld, all he said is that he heard it was in January. He didn't know the day. He said that extensively on Reddit. That he didn't actually know the day.
All right. This is a screenshot of Reddit, and Nate the Hate replied to it.
Yeah, sure. That's absolutely, yeah. I'm not saying that he never said it. I'm saying that there's more conversations where he went on and said that this is just stuff he's hearing from third party.
All right. You're more well-versed. I'll take your word.
Yeah. He's next handheld, it hasn't, he's walked back a few things he said. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. But these are the things that haven't been walked back yet. He did hint or heavily suggest that there is a fan in the dock. Shipping documents or the shipping data tends to support that there might be a fan in the dock, but again, the dock we haven't seen the dock taken apart. We don't know. But that would suggest that they're trying to get some additional cooling when it's in dock mode, which is interesting for performance boosting. Let me see what else. This is the big one that I feel like I don't want to say confirmed until it's confirmed, but GameStop kind of did. MicroSD Express.
Mm-hmm.
Next handheld was the first to say that it was going to support that, and then GameStop had all those listings for MicroSD Express cards for Switch 2.
Yep.
So that to me kind of felt like GameStop sort of confirmed that those are a thing launching with the system.
That was one other thing I noticed, that you can't see any micro SD card slot anywhere on the trailer.
Okay,
So it's
so
probably under the
well,
kickstand again.
there is a
It's
spot.
pretty
Hold
close.
on, there actually is a spot. If I can get a freeze frame on it here. When they open the U-shaped kickstand, it's very
You
faint.
were really close.
Oh, okay. So that is where it is, though.
Yeah, it's on the right side on the. Okay, so like, kind of. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. Okay, so here's where the kickstand opens, and then if you pause, and I can't zoom in on this video, but I
On
can
the
make
right side, so like the far away side.
Yeah, like it's kind of like
Oh, at the bottom.
Yeah, you see,
I
like
can
there's kind
kind
of
of
like
see it.
there's like a very
Oh.
faint notch sort of thing over here on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it's at. So,
Good
yeah,
eye.
I mean, I know. It took me a few times watching it on my library to be like, where's that? Oh, nope, that's got to be it because there's no reason for that little notch to be there. So, so yeah, obviously it was going to support SD cards. SD Express would be huge. Obviously, 800 megabyte transfer speeds minimum can possibly get up to 1200 is the theoretical, where they think they can get it out, manufacturers, but we'll see. Also, based on the motherboard leak, it looks like the SD card is a separate module. I find that to be interesting for repairability reasons. Maybe it's because of MicroSD Express, because there was concerns about overheating with MicroSD Express. So maybe they decided to make it a separate module because maybe there's a heatsink on it, or maybe they feel like it might be a point of failure that they're going to have to take care of, because MicroSD Express is not used in anything, and there hasn't been extensive testing for like longevity with it. So I think Nintendo might have been smartly trying to like future proof themselves to be able to fix a potential problem if one comes up with those faster speeds and overheating. That being said, I know you guys don't want to hear that. That's just a general concern, like audience, for like MicroSD Express, because nothing really supports it. So we don't have a lot of data on like the longevity of those cards. But faster load times are always awesome. And I know I'm going to get one. I mean, hell, it sounded like there might be a terabyte or even a 2 terabyte one at launch.
Yep. There's a 2
$150
terabyte.
for the terabyte.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm in for that. That's actually not that bad for brand new Express standard.
Well, especially since some of us, like myself, spent $250
250 on the OG 1 terabyte. Yeah.
for the PS5.
Oh yeah, that's right.
For the
That official.
Yeah, but those
M2
are solid
SSD.
state drives. These are literally SD cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well,
obviously they're the new ones, which
How much
are
did they
more
charge
than 4
for-
times faster.
So they didn't have.
I think they're like up to 8 times faster, but they're still nowhere. They're not on SSD speeds.
No, they're not on SSD speeds. But the I'm trying to remember when Switch came out, there wasn't 1 terabyte micro SD cards, but then they came out while Switch was on the market. I remember them being actually very pricey when they first came out.
Yeah, they
Well,
were.
it's funny now because the SSDs are actually under $100 for 1 terabyte.
That's what happens over time. Like even like the micro SD ones for 1 terabyte, you can find them frequently on sale for 100. Like, but that's just what
they're the regular prices, like 100 now. They're on sale for like
cool.
60 to 70.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. So yeah, that I think that's just really good news. Obviously, future proofing, allowing itself to have that, because here's the thing: a lot of modern AAA games, they do like those fast load times. And while you're not going to be able to match what PS5 is doing, that's okay. Like you can't be aiming to do that unless you're going to literally support M.2, and you're going to need better heat sinks and more power draw for that. So I kind of feel like this was like a nice happy medium for them to support the latest standards in MicroSD Express, get those faster speeds, at least make it so it feels like Switch today, where load times are a little bit slower on the micro SD versus the internal. Well, the internal got faster, so then make the micro SD get faster, so then you can kind of maintain that same sort of gap instead of it feeling like, oh my god, it's so massive. I'm waiting 2 minutes for a game to load off the SD versus like 30 seconds off the internal. So I feel like this was definitely a good decision. Yeah. And by the way, MicroSD Express is compatible as like normal MicroSD cards too. You can put it in any MicroSD card slot. It'll just run at those speeds because the slot has to support the speeds.
So we don't have to put Fortnite on internal
So-
now? Is that what we're hearing?
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about? Do we think that they edited out the C on the C button to reveal it later?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's just a blank
100%.
button?
Edit it.
There's no way they're leaving a blank button. It's gonna
I just wanted to make sure we talk about that too.
And next handheld today, when somebody asked him about the C button, said it's a C button. And it was just in his leaked picture that he posted with Donkey Kong AI in the background, which I absolutely loved.
That's crazy. I'm pretty sure Wolfden made a video like calling it out that the C button isn't real today.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what do they think it is? A blank button?
He might be a bigger channel, but he's not in the weeds as much as we are with leaks. I promise you
I mean,
that.
yeah, just logically speaking, they're not going to put a blank button on there.
Well,
Yeah,
some
seems like a
people
waste of space.
were saying it's another sensor, like an IR sensor.
The button?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have an IR laser pointed at humans,
absolutely not.
pointing their eyes at the screen. I don't see that being a smart. I don't think that being a smart decision. Yeah, I want to get IR blasted in the eye. That sounds like a smart idea.
You know what I just noticed?
Somebody clip what Nate just said for me.
Laser light pointers, like I just want to get one of those right in the cornea.
This is really small, but I just noticed this as I'm watching this video of the Joy-Con. The new Joy-Cons don't have the little like light ring around the home button.
No more light.
Like the Switch has a little like it'll
you're right. Yeah,
light
The
up,
only
but that one doesn't
Adventure
have
used
it.
if I'm not mistaken.
They
only-
used it for like the only time I ever saw it was when you could set like a workout time in Ring Fit, and your Switch would ding at you, and that's how it lit up. It could have been used more.
At E3, Nintendo behind the scenes had it on at all times while playing Luigi's Mansion 3 because their booth was all spooky and set up like a mansion. I was like, how do you have that on at all times? I think it's cool, but game-wise, like you said, just Ring Fit.
Yeah, like it was a carryover from Wii U because they had it as well, but they used it for like notifications. Like it would,
and it was
go
also on
whenever
whenever the
like,
Wii U was on, was it not?
What?
Like, wasn't it blue whenever the gamepad was on? Like it was just on?
Yeah, maybe I can't remember now, but I know when it.
I'm pretty sure it was always blue.
Yeah, when it was on the charging thing, I know it used to like flash at you, and because like they would advertise things on the Wii U gamepad. Every time there was like a new ad, it would like flash at you, so you pick up your pad and you can see whatever they're advertising. It just felt underutilized on Switch, so maybe that they decided, you know what, it's just not. We're not going to do anything with it. We're just going to dump it. Which is whatever. I guess if you want notifications, that's what Alarmo is for, right?
Hey, mine gets here tomorrow.
There you go.
I'm gonna backtrack us a little bit because I woke up this morning, was like, there's no tweet, and then like I was making coffee or whatever, and I looked down at my phone and I had a YouTube notification and it said an update from Nintendo, and I was like, oh man, somebody really did, like, this is some good troll work right here, you know. And so I'm watching it and I'm like, this is like, I'm checking the channel, it's got millions of subs, I'm like, this is real. And then the emails started coming in from their business wire, and I was like, oh, okay, this is real. Then finally the tweet went out. So I saw the YouTube video before anything else, and was just like, you know, from that point on, it was just videos all day long. Like I haven't really left my chair here, and I couldn't believe it. I was so stoked that it was finally, because I was feeling for everybody. I'm like, what? Like everybody was anticipating this. So I even put out a picture of one of the leaked screws just to try to lighten the mood a little bit on Twitter, because it was just like it seemed like it was pretty fierce out there. So I was just really glad to see. And then when I saw Mario Kart, of course, I lost my mind. And we'll talk more about that later. But overall, I really love the design. And I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the very early days of the Switch, do you remember leaked pictures of Joy-Con that looked just like this as far as the color? And it was a supposed dev kit that was like these matte black that went out to different devs. I always wanted to find those Joy-Con. I loved that color. I'm not a huge fan of the accent colors on this one. I wish they
just get a Sharpie. It'll be good.
So yeah, just Sharpie it out.
Color whatever you want.
Yeah, well, and if there is a Mario Kart SKU, you know what I'm going to be picking up.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that later because, yeah, man, it sounds like.
I don't want to get off topic, but here's a little thought. I was double checking because I'm pretty sure I was right, and yeah, I am. The original Nintendo Switch that was shown off in that 2.5-minute trailer back on October 20th, 2016, we only saw the gray Joy-Con pair. The next time we saw Nintendo Switch in a public setting was on Jimmy Fallon when Reggie brought it over and they played December 7th.
Thank you for looking that up, Paul.
That was also still just gray. It wasn't until, you're welcome, until January 13th that they officially unveiled blue and red. And then
let's go. Color button theory lives on.
At the same time, Nintendo went online, and that's when they said there'll be 2 SKUs available March 3rd for purchase, and here's all the product pages. So, like, I just had to confirm that, but that's when we saw it. So, if something similar happens, here we see this more subtle approach. Perhaps April 2nd, Nintendo will say, here's the other SKU. And maybe that one's the crazier one that either has colored buttons, colored, left D-pad buttons, or maybe totally different colored Joy-Cons. How do they do it? Do they have a all blue and an all salmon kind of reddish Joy-Con and the middle is now black, or blue with a black circle, red with a blue circle, or maybe nothing at all. But I think it's definitely possible. So if
they're Nintendo, they gotta have something like that.
I'm sure eventually they will, but
I know
at launch they might.
I know that Next Handheld did mention, although he didn't see it, but he was told that there's also like an all white version, and that includes the console itself also being white. Now I don't know if there's color because he didn't see it in person, so he doesn't know if there's colors or anything that go with that white. But that would also be really interesting because that's even different than the OLED, because the OLED was just a Joy-Con, not the whole console. And I know a lot of people like those white, white PCs and white sleek phones. And
I hate white handhelds though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know, that's the thing.
little
I'm
hands
gonna get that so dirty,
getting all sweaty. Yeah,
but that is one thing that he said he claimed he heard, although he didn't see it. Obviously, the big thing was that he claimed that there was a system themed after a game with the number 9 in it, and then he kind of confirmed today that game is Mario Kart. But we'll get to that during the Mario Kart topic, because he also said the person didn't tell him if the themed one would be at launch. I could see it maybe not being at launch. Maybe it's holiday. They decided to bring that out. As like a special bundle for the holiday, or it won't be a bundle. It's Nintendo. Let's be real. But just be realistic. It'll advertise the hell out of Mario Kart, but there won't be any Mario Kart included. You're gonna get your 3 months of NSO online, and you're gonna like it.
No. They'll do a Mario Kart bundle, but it'll be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with the booster course pack. Not giving you Mario Kart 9. They'll be like, hey, you can buy this, and for all your friends who still have Switch 1 and Mario Kart 8, you can play with them. But if you want the new one, you gotta pay extra.
You already own Mario Kart 8 like 70 million other people? Well, you got another copy.
I think the rumor came from Special Nick, but there was price point rumor going around earlier today, and it was like $449 and $499 is what he was hearing, and his speculation was, and this may not be accurate, but I guess this source told him June for the release date, and since that seems to be probably what's going to happen, he thought, okay, maybe it is the case that this source is accurate, and he told me $449, and he also told me $499, and he thinks that the $499 would be with Mario Kart 9 included, and the $449 would be the base console without Mario Kart 9.
It's got like a terabyte.
What's crazy is that Best Buy $349.99 leak going around.
Yeah.
You can do it right now. They haven't taken it down. So if you go to Google, and you type in Nintendo Switch 2 Best Buy, it literally shows you Nintendo Switch 2, and it has the price is $349. And when you click it, I was like, maybe it'll take me to the Switch OLED or something, right? Nope, it takes you to the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order page.
But see, something weird happened with that. It was like the like people thought, what was it? It was like a French retailer, a French Amazon site that if you Googled Nintendo Switch 2, it had a release date or something tied to it, and it was like in the it was in the Google text, so people thought it was like legit something going around. Then somebody found out Google was pulling that from the release date of like a totally different game. Sure. And so like I feel like that's a similar thing with Best Buy. I wish it was $349, but I feel like it's probably pulling that number from somewhere else and putting it under,
which was the last console.
Correct. Right.
Yeah, it's hard to know because obviously no pricing information was announced today.
I think it's going to be at least $399. And
I think $399 is the most likely one. We'll get to that in a later topic. There was The only other thing to bring up, I guess, for this one is I do think it's interesting that Next Handheld said that his exact wording was he doesn't know, if it'll support 4K 60, which it seems like, that's just gonna be up to the developers, right? But that 4K 30 would be like a common target, and I think that makes sense. If people are actually trying to upscale the 4K, that like you would probably target that. I think games that want 60 FPS will probably target 1440p or under for upscaling. But who knows? In handheld, that doesn't even matter because you only go to 1080p anyways. But talking about the TVs and stuff like that. And I think perfect before we get into this first topic, Andres Restart here.
Hey,
Yo,
We were
got
just about
quite
to
a
end.
panel here.
Yeah, we got quite the panel. So before we end this first topic, perfect. What are your thoughts on this reveal, baby? We have
Okay,
Mario Kart
first
9 for
off,
separate topics, so.
I would like to apologize because I meant to do a little bit of a raid and I typed Nintendo Prime into like the redirect feature, and the only thing that came up was Thunderstaff's version. So
Thunderstaff.
I mean, either way, everyone's here. They're just in a different place.
Yeah. Hey,
But,
thank you, man.
Yeah. So yeah, but anyway, what's up? Thanks for having me. What do I think of the reveal? I think it's a good enough start. Like, to be honest with you, I think they could have had a much better reveal. I think Nintendo was definitely holding back. I do feel like they're resting on their laurels a little bit. However, they didn't screw it up because they made sure to do the most important things, which is just really tell us exactly what it is. It's a Switch 2. That part is so blatantly obvious. There's no concerns in that regard. So like any concern about a Wii U situation, no. Like they're not really limiting their potential success with this reveal trailer is my main point. Like they're going to be able to market this thing well. And the other interesting thing is that even though maybe they could have had a better reveal, it's still doing so well. Like it might still end up being the most successful like Nintendo trailer ever,
So
just
many
because of
views.
where Nintendo's at and like the anticipation. So they're gonna be fine regardless. I do think they should have showed a couple more games, and I do think that the look at Mario Kart, well, one, it might be them kind of subtly hinting that it's the launch title, which is great. It's not the best look at Mario Kart, and the trailer not being in 4K, like it doesn't have to be in 4K, but now people aren't sure. And people look at Mario Kart. Some people think it's Mario Kart 8. It's not. It's not close to it, but some people think that. And so I just think that had they showed a few other games that were blatantly, obviously more power, like showing better fidelity than anything possible on Switch 1, they could have done a better job overall. But regardless, we know it's Switch 2. That is a new Mario Kart game. The trailer is doing really well. And when we see all the games on April 2nd, it's not going to matter.
Exactly.
I don't know if anyone disagree with me or if I just basically echoed what you all had said for the last hour. So.
No, that's great.